Hey, what's up, guys? Gonna be showing you my Christian Slater collection. And I figure I'd do this since he's an underrated actor, in my opinion. And, I've enjoyed his films throughout the years. I grew up with him, so I'm gonna go through the films of each film that I have, talk a little bit about them, and just mainly show you my collection, what I have of his films. We're gonna start off with Cuffs, which is a pretty good, action comedy from Christian Slater, and Mila Jovovich, which she's best known for the Resident Evil films and The Fifth Element. This mainly was the reason why I checked out this film back in the day, was because, Mila Jovovich was in it. Because, I liked her back in the day. She started out, modeling and stuff like that, and she was getting noticed, and I thought she was cute back in the day, so I checked out this film, and yeah, it's pretty funny. Christian Slater, he's pretty underrated when it comes to doing comedies or action films. This is one of his better movies. His Cuffs, pretty underrated in my opinion. But that is Cuffs. And then we have Pump Up the Volume, which is another decent film from him. And this is Cuffs on Blu-ray that I got from my good friend, which looks really nice on Blu-ray. Then we got Hard Cash, which I have not seen. I need to get around to watching that one. And this is Tales from the Dark Side, the movie, which you can see Christian Slater right there. I don't know if you can see it very well. It's right there. That's a pretty good anthology film. Bunch of short stories, like 4 short stories, I believe. Pretty decent. And then we got Alone in the Dark with Christian Slater, which I remember being mediocre, being okay, nothing too memorable, but it's based off a video game by the same name, Alone in the Dark, so yeah. So that's Alone in the Dark. We got Gleam in the Cube, which is a skateboard film. I've always enjoyed this one. I like skateboarding, so that's why I got it. It's actually a pretty decent storyline. This was during the time period, when I was a kid. I was into skateboarding back then, So that's what was appealing to me about the film. Checking it out, and it's pretty cool. And Tony Hawk, is in this as well. I don't think you really see him too much, but he's in the film. He's a famous skateboarder. So yeah, that's Gleam in the Cube with Christian Slater. He's actually skateboarding. That's really him. And we have True Romance with Christian Slater and Patricia Arquette. Patricia Arquette, to me, is always best known for Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, Dream Warriors. Her character in there. We also got Dennis Hopper and Val Kilmer. Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman does a pretty good performance in this. And also Brad Pitt and Christopher Walken is in this film as well. It's a pretty good cast. I remember enjoying this film. I thought it was pretty good. But that is True Romance. And then we got Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, which is a Kevin Costner film. But it has Morgan Freeman, and it has Christian Slater in it. It's a pretty decent movie. It's probably the best Robin Hood film I've seen. That's Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Pretty decent. I saw that in theater back in the day. It's pretty good. Then we got Playback, Christian Slater. Yeah, this film isn't that great, to be honest. I got this at the Dollar Tree for $1. And since Christian Slater was in it, and I figured why the hell not, add to the collection. And this movie has issues. Very low budget, not very good at all, to be honest. And then we got Hard Rain with Christian Slater, Morgan Freeman, Randy Quaid, Minnie Driver. This is actually pretty good movie, actually. He's trying to survive all this bullshit he's dealing with, flood and everything. These crazy people that want money, Yeah, that's a pretty underrated flick, in my opinion. That's Hard Rain. And then we got Interview with the Vampire, which is a Tom Cruise film with Brad Pitt, Antonio Banderas, and Christian Slater. I remember it being okay. Who else was in this film? Was it Kirsten Dunst? She was in this as well. As a little girl, she's young in this movie. Yeah, I remember this being okay. Interview with the Vampire Chronicles. So let's see here. This one is like a 4-movie collection. And it has Hollow Man 2 in it, which Christian Slater is in this film. Which I don't know if you can see it very well. This space. But he's in Hollow Man 2. Hollow Man, the original film, was with Kevin Bacon. The sequel has Christian Slater. So I haven't seen Hollow Man 2, so I can't really say much about it. I've seen the first film, but not the second one. And then we got Young Guns 2, which has Christian Slater in it. You see him right there. And that's Emilio Estevez. That's Charlie Sheen's brother. And you have Keith Sutherland's in this as well. And Lou Diamond Phillips as well. I've never seen this film, so I can't really say too much about it. I've seen the first film, but not the second film. But one of these days I'll get around to watching it. But that's Young Guns 2. And this is Fern Gully, The Last Rainforest. This has voice acting from Christian Slater and Robin Williams. It's a pretty decent movie. Basically, James Cameron's Avatar pretty much ripped off this idea. This movie came out in the early 90s, animated film. And it's pretty decent. Robin Williams is the voice for the Bat. And I can't remember who was the character that Christian Slater did the voice for, but yeah, Fern Gully Last Rainforest, pretty decent flick. And I could see where James Cameron got inspiration from was from this film, obviously, because Avatar is very similar, you know, with the subject matter. That's Fern Gully. And then we got Broken Arrow with Christian Slater and John Travolta, which is a pretty good action film. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I remember enjoying it. It's one of John Woo's better films, in my opinion. So that is Broken Arrow. And then we have Heathers with Christian Slater and Winona Ryder. This is a pretty good film, good comedy. It's kind of like a black comedy, kind of, you know. Yeah, it's one of those movies, like the humor is kind of dark in a way. But, yeah, it's a pretty good film. You know, Christian Slater is good in it. Winona Ryder is good in it. I like Winona Ryder. I'm a fan of hers as well. She was in Beetlejuice and Edward Scissorhands and Dracula. That came out in the early 90s with Gary Oldman playing Dracula. So, yeah, I'm a fan of hers. And I'm a fan of Gary Oldman as well. To me, Gary Oldman, Christopher Walken, Jack Nicholson, to me are, you know, some of my favorite actors. So, yeah, but Heathers, pretty good film. And then we get The Legend of Billie Jean, which has Helen Slater and Christian Slater. Now, for a long time, there was rumors going around that Helen Slater was actually Christian Slater's sister. And for a long time, I was convinced that they were brother and sister, but I found out probably a few years ago that they actually are not brother and sister. They just share the same last name, you know, Slater. But they do play brother and sister in this film. And it's pretty decent, kind of cult classic, kind of underrated film. That is Legend of Billie Jean. Christian Slater's really young in this film. I don't know if you can see him. He's with Helen Slater. But yep, that is Legend of Billie Jean. And then we got a double feature here. That is, it has The Wizard, which Christian Slater is in. It also has this other film, Cloak and Dagger, which is another good film. But The Wizard I grew up with, you know, Fred Savage. You know, he's best known for The Wonder Years and Little Monsters, and he was also in Once Upon a Deadpool. It came out a few years ago, the PG-13 version of Deadpool 2. But I grew up with Fred Savage, fan of his, and Christian Slater is his brother in the film. But this is basically just like a kind of like trying to advertise basically Nintendo games, you know. It's like a lot of product placement, you know, when it comes to Nintendo or it comes to Universal Studios Hollywood, you know, when it first opened back in the early 90s. So it's one of those movies that has a lot of product placement in it, but it actually has a pretty decent story as well. It's a fun film. So that is The Wizard. Also introduces the Power Glove. That was like so cool back in the day. You know, Nintendo. That is The Wizard. Really good film. And this is going to be the last one I'm going to be talking about today. And that is Bullet to the Head, which Christian Slater is in this film. This is a Sylvester Stallone film. I don't think Christian Slater has a huge part in this film, but he is in it. And I thought this was pretty decent. Underrated Sylvester Stallone film with Christian Slater and Jason. What was that guy? The guy from Aquaman's in this too. Jason Momoa. Yeah, I think he's pretty decent actor. I kind of like him. He's pretty good in Aquaman. He's pretty decent in this film too. Didn't really care for his Conan film though, which was a remake, from the classic Arnold Schwarzenegger, Conan the Barbarian. But Bullet to the Head, pretty decent Stallone flick. But yeah, that's all my collection of Christian Slater films. Hope you guys enjoy this collection video, and I hope you guys have a good day. Alright, you take it easy.